Hey there, micro folks. This is Mr. Hooker, and today we are in chapter 13, The Rational Consumer, which is really all about utility, utility maximization, and income constraints. So basically, it is an extension of behavioral economics because utility maximization is kind of a behavioral thing. There's some stuff to that, but we'll get to it. Let's go. So utility and consumption. So our assumption in life, and as you know by now, economists are big assumers. So we always make assumptions. The joke is if an economist had to make a house, the first thing he would do is assume a hammer. So that is the whole thing. So we assume that every individual is trying to maximize their satisfaction or maximize their utility gained from consumption. So the two things is we have consumers and we have firms. Firms are trying to maximize profit, consumers are trying to maximize utility. Firms maximize profit, consumers maximize utility. There you go, right? Pretty simple to remember. So utility is the value or satisfaction from consumption. So it is satisfaction. So if you did not know, Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones was actually a student at LSE, London School of Economics, one of the most famous economic schools in the world. And he was a student there when he dropped out to join the Rolling Stones or help form the Rolling Stones, actually. So the song, and that actually gives new insight into the song. Once you know that, it gives new insight to the song Can't Get No Satisfaction, because that basically means I can't get any utility. So it's a whole thing to that. So your consumption bundle is the collection of all the goods and services consumed by the individual. So an individual's utility function gives the total utility generated by their consumption bundle. So we measure utility with a util, which is a hypothetical unit. Understand that your utility for broccoli may be different than your neighbor's utility for broccoli, and your utility for pizza might be different than your neighbor's utility for pizza, all of that. So utility varies from person to person. It's hypothetical. There is a formula for it. It's about 3 lines long in an economics journal. It's crazy, but it's there. So marginal utility is the change in utility from consuming an additional unit of a good. So it's change in total utility divided by change in quantity. That is the formula for marginal utility. And we have what we call diminishing marginal utility. And that is the fact that each additional unit of a good adds less to utility than the previous unit. So let's think about this with pizza. You haven't had pizza in a minute. You're having pizza. First slice is really good. Then you have your second slice. It's good, but it's not as good as that first one. Then you have a third slice, and it's okay. If you have a fourth slice, it's eh. If you have a fifth slice, you're probably wondering like, why am I still eating pizza? Like, really? I'm not getting any satisfaction, and actually, I'm quite full. Um, so there's a whole thing to that. Same could go with tacos. First taco's really good. Second taco's pretty good. Third taco's good. Fourth taco is eh. Fifth taco is Sixth taco is what the heck am I doing? So there is that diminishing marginal utility we have. Now, total utility will continue to increase as long as marginal utility is positive. When marginal utility hits zero, total utility flattens out. And when it goes negative, total utility starts to fall or yeah, it starts to fall. So there you go. It looks like that. The marginal utility is a downward sloping line. Marginal utility is diminishing marginal utility is one of the things that causes the downward slope of the demand curve, and that's why marginal utility looks like a demand curve. And so you see that total utility has that kind of hump to it. So this is egg rolls that they're doing. Food is always a big thing with diminishing marginal utility and all of that. So this is Cassian egg rolls, 0 to 9. Total utils are 0, 15, 28, 39, 48, 55, 60, 63, 64. And then when you went negative, it went back to 63. It is possible, like, let's say that there's something that you completely hate doing. You just hate it, hate it, hate it, right? It is possible to have a positive utility from not doing something. You just hate it that much. So you get positive utility from not having to do it. So usually we start at 0, but it's possible to start at a positive and just like go that way. Uh, there we go. All right. Budget constraints and budget lines. Because we don't have unlimited money, like even a millionaire has only a few $1 million. Um, you have a budget line. You can, the amount of money you have to spend is limited. You have a decision to make on what to consume and how to consume. Decision to consume more of one good is also a decision to consume less of some other good. So a budget constraint requires the cost of consumer's consumption bundle to be no more than the consumer's income. All right. So, you know, you really can't spend more than you have. Um, a consumer's consumption possibilities, which is like production possibilities, which we did earlier, are the set of all consumption bundles that can be consumed given the consumer's income and the current prices. Your budget line shows the bundles available if you spend all of your income. So the goal is to spend every dime you have. We're looking at egg rolls and bottles of Coke. So we have the idea that you have a weekly budget of $20. We have egg rolls and Coke. Egg rolls are $4 a roll, Cokes are $2 a bottle. So what we have is this. You could get 5 egg rolls or 10 bottles of Coke or some combination in between, like 8, uh, 8 and 1, 6 and 2, 4 and 3, 2 and 4. So those are your possible combinations that you could do. Now, it's just like the production possibilities curve. Any point on the line is efficient and fine. You probably don't like the idea of all Coke, no egg rolls, or the idea of all egg rolls, no Coke. One's just going to be a lot of liquid, nothing to eat, and one's just going to be a lot of egg rolls with nothing to wash it down with. So you probably want, something like B, C, D, or E, depending on your preference of food or liquid. So any of those points are preferable, but even the A or F is fine, but it's just anywhere on there. Anything inside the curve, any of that shaded area inside the curve is possible, but you're not spending all of your money and therefore not maximizing your utility. Anything outside the curve in the white out in here is impossible given your current budget and the current prices of the goods. So there you go. Affordable bundles that cost all of your income, affordable bundles that do not cost all of your income and therefore do not maximize your utility, and unaffordable bundles you can't get right now. All right. So here we go. What are we going to do? Um, so 0, 0, there you go. A, no egg rolls, 10 Cokes. Utility from the Cokes, 56.7. B, uh, 1 egg roll, 8 Cokes. That gives you 53. Uh, yeah, that gives you 53.2 for Coke, and the 15 for the egg rolls, 68.2. The 2 egg rolls and 6 Cokes, 25 and 47. That gives you 72. D, 3 and 4, that gives you a total of 67.8. E is 4 and 2, that gives you a total of 55.4. And F gives you 5 and nothing, that gives you a total of 36. So you're maximizing at point C, which is 2 egg rolls and 6 Cokes, at 72. And so the optimal consumption bundle is the one that maximizes your utility given your budget constraint, and that was at point C. There you go. So we can also find this by choosing the bundle which total you can find it by where total utility is maximized, but there's another way to do this. We can use marginal analysis, turning it into how much problem. We ask the consumer can make themselves better off by spending a little bit more on either good. So what we do is we use marginal utility per dollar spent. So marginal utility, additional utility you get from consuming one more unit of a good or service. Marginal utility per dollar spent on a good or service is the additional utility from spending one more dollar on that good or service. So define marginal utility per dollar, divide marginal utility of the good by its price, and marginal utility per dollar declines as the quantity of that good rises due to diminishing marginal utility. So it looks like this: marginal utility marginal utility divided by price for egg rolls is going down. Marginal utility divided by price for Cokes going up there. Where they intersect is where you have that, where you should be buying them. Quantity of egg rolls, quantity of Coke going one way, one quantity of Coke going the other. That is your point. Bam. All right. So general rule, compare margin utility and price for all goods. Adjust your spending toward the goods to give you more margin utility per dollar. So basically, in the end, all goods will have the exact same margin utility divided by price. So what you want is for all goods to have margin utility divided by price to be equal. If the price of gum's 25 cents, the price of ice cream's $1. Margin utility of gum's 1. The margin utility of ice cream is 2. So margin utility of gum divided by price of gum is greater than the margin utility of ice cream divided by the price of ice cream. Buy more gum. It's going to make you happier dollar for dollar. So this is what I was just saying on the last slide. The optimal consumption bundle is always where margin utility of A divided by price of A is equal to margin utility of B divided by price of B, which is equal to margin utility of C divided by price of C, all the way out to the margin utility of Z is equal to the price of Z, subject to your budget constraint. So if the margin utility per dollar is higher for ice cream than for gum, buying more ice cream and less gum would increase total utility. So if you've chosen your optimal consumption bundle, margin utility per dollar on ice cream and gum must be equal. So the utility maximizing principle of marginal analysis: when a consumer maximizes utility in the face of a budget constraint, margin utility per dollar spent on each good or service in the consumption bundle is the same. If the price goes up, margin utility per dollar spent on the good falls, and the consumer can easily increase their utility by buying less of this good and more of other goods. So what are some problems? The right marginal comparison. So production decisions set the marginal benefit of some activities equal to a marginal cost, and your consumption decisions set the margin utility per dollar equal for each good. So unlike producers, consumers face budget constraints. Actually, producers do face budget constraints. They can't just produce unlimited amounts. Consuming more of one good requires consuming less of another, and the right marginal decision sets the marginal utility per dollar equal for each good. The bang for your buck is the same across all goods. So substitution effect is the change in the quantity consumed of the good as the consumer substitutes that good that has become relatively cheaper for the good that's become relatively more expensive. So the price, and this is all relative. So think beef and chicken, is the price of chicken goes down, we substitute out of beef into chicken. But if you have these two sitting there, and let's say, so we know the price of beef is greater than the price of chicken, but if the price of beef falls, people will substitute out of chicken into beef because they're like, why am I eating chicken if I can get the beef that I like more at a relatively cheaper price now? It's really kind of crazy, but it works. Income effect, change in the quantity consumed of a good that results from change in the consumer's purchasing power, um, or real income. So basically, it's a change in your real income due to a change in the price of the good. So as the price of the good changes, your real income changes. So prices go down, price of the good goes down, your real income goes up. You now you now can buy more of that good or other goods. So you basically are looking at, like, I can buy more of these goods and doing that kind of thing. Or if the price goes down, you can buy more of all good, buy more of all goods. So price goes up, you can buy less. Price goes down, you can buy more. They're saying the income effect has no significant effect on consumption. Most market demand curves slope down because the substitution effect. When it matters at all, the income effect just reinforces the substitution effect. We're going to stop right here and I will finish this in video number 2.